Are you sleeping in a room that looks dark but still glows with a phone charger, a street lamp, or a TV standby light? And have you wondered what that does to your heart?
Welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. Stay informed with quick, easy-to-listen summaries of our latest articles, perfect for when you're on the go. No reading required. Subscribe for free at mercola.com for the latest health insights.
Hello, and welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. I'm Ethan Foster. Today we're examining how exposure to bright light at night raises your risk for cardiovascular disease, and why restoring strong contrast between bright days and truly dark nights protects your heart.
I'm Alara Sky. You'll hear what large population studies reveal about nighttime light and heart events, how light interacts with polluted air to amplify risk, how even dim light disrupts mood and metabolism, and the practical steps you can take to reclaim darkness for better recovery.
Let's start with the evidence linking nighttime light to cardiovascular disease. One study in JAMA Network Open analyzed about 13 million hours of light data from 88,905 adults aged 40 and older. Over 9.5 years, those living in the brightest nighttime environments, top 10% of exposure, had up to a 56% higher risk of heart failure and a 47% higher risk of heart attack compared to those in the darkest settings. Risks also climbed for coronary artery disease, atrial fibrillation, and stroke.
The methods matter here. Instead of relying on satellite maps or self-reports, the researchers used wrist-worn light sensors to capture real-world exposure. The dose response was clear. As nighttime light increased, risk rose. Mid-range exposure showed modest increases, but the highest exposure produced strong jumps, about 32% higher risk for coronary artery disease, 32% for atrial fibrillation, and 28% for stroke.
There were notable differences across groups. Women and younger adults appeared more affected, consistent with higher circadian sensitivity to light signals. When your internal clock is more reactive, small disruptions produce larger shifts in hormones and cardiovascular function.
Mechanistically, light at night confuses your master clock in the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Melatonin release is blunted, and the cascade follows. Heart rate elevates when it should fall, blood pressure stays higher overnight. Inflammatory pathways activate, and over time the heart's structure and efficiency can change.
It's not all bad news. The same analysis found that brighter light exposure during the day was protective. Strong contrast, bright days and dark nights, was associated with lower risks of coronary artery disease, heart failure, and stroke. Reinforcing that contrast is a central theme today.
Now let's layer in environmental context. In a Journal of the American Heart Association study that tracked 416,032 adults for nearly 15 years, air pollution and nighttime light were evaluated together. Heavier pollution correlated with more heart attacks, heart failure, arrhythmias, and cardiovascular deaths. Bright nights independently added risk, and combined exposure was worse than either alone.
The interaction was quantifiable. Nighttime brightness explained about a quarter of air pollution's added risk for heart attacks, and roughly 20% to 39% of the extra risk for heart failure, depending on pollution levels. Urban areas often bundle both exposures. Fine particles and traffic fumes rise alongside brighter night skies.
The impacts extend beyond the heart. Analysis from Australia of 86,772 adults showed that more light at night was associated with higher rates of depression, anxiety, PTSD, bipolar disorder, psychosis, and self-harm. Dim days with bright nights increased depression risk by about 30%, while bright daylight exposure lowered depression risk by about 20% and offered protection against PTSD and psychosis.
Even low levels of light are enough to disturb your brain. Exposure around 5 lux, roughly a dim street lamp, has been linked with depressive symptoms, while a tablet glow can reach about 40 lux. That level can send wake signals during sleep, interrupting deep rest and emotional recovery.
There are metabolic and oncologic associations as well. Nighttime light exposure has been tied to obesity, diabetes, and hypertension. One data point: 40.7% of those exposed to light at night were obese versus 26.7% among those sleeping in darkness. Shift work with light at night exposure is classified as a probable human carcinogen due to circadian disruption. And higher night light has been linked to postmenopausal breast and thyroid cancers, including a 55% higher thyroid cancer risk in the brightest areas compared to the darkest.
Let's move to action you can take tonight. First, make your nights completely dark. Your body relies on darkness to trigger melatonin and switch into repair mode. Block light leaks with blackout curtains, or use a soft, contoured sleep mask. Dim screens after sunset. Avoid electronics before bed. And choose warm, low-intensity bulbs in the evening.
Second, strengthen your days with bright, natural light. Get outside for 10 to 15 minutes of morning sunlight right after waking. If you work indoors, sit near a window or consider a full-spectrum light box. The goal is a strong light-dark contrast. Brighter days, darker nights.
Third, create a calming pre-sleep routine so your nervous system can shift gears. Keep it simple and repeatable, such as a warm bath, gentle stretching, or journaling under dim light. Avoid scrolling or stimulating shows right before bed. Both the light and the content keep arousal high.
Fourth, keep technology from running your sleep environment. Cover or unplug anything that glows: chargers, clocks, standby LEDs. Remove your cell phone from the bedroom if possible. If you use security devices, disable visual indicators during sleep hours. Your room should be quiet, cool, and free of light sources that interfere with overnight recovery.
Fifth, treat darkness as a daily health habit. Approach your sleep setting with the same seriousness as nutrition and exercise. Track how quickly you fall asleep and how refreshed you feel as you remove light leaks. The payoff is steadier energy, more predictable mood, and cardiovascular markers that align with restful nights.
For listeners asking how to prioritize, start with what you can control tonight. Block window light and cover LEDs. Tomorrow morning, step outside within 30 minutes of waking over the week. Build your routine and reduce evening screen brightness. If your environment includes both heavy nightlight and polluted air, these steps become even more important.
Before we close, let's recap the key pattern. Nighttime light elevates heart risks. The effect is stronger in women and younger adults. Bright days offset some of that risk, and combined exposures with air pollution push risk higher. Even low light can disturb mood regulation, and chronic disruption shows up in metabolic and cancer associations. Your countermeasure is simple and consistent: bright mornings and truly dark nights.
Here's your challenge. Tonight, audit your bedroom for 5 lux sources. Any visible glow counts. Eliminate or cover each one. Then tomorrow morning, get 10 to 15 minutes of outdoor light as soon as you wake. Repeat this contrast for 7 days and note changes in how quickly you fall asleep and how rested you feel on waking.
Thank you for watching Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe now and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.